There's an oil that's richer in omega-3s than fish and nuts, but barely anyone uses it now. By the 1970s, supermarkets replaced it with cheaper options, and even food magazines stopped mentioning its name. So what happened to this seed oil, and could it actually leave olive oil in the dust? Let's find out what the industry left behind. Wait, camelina oil might beat olive oil and no one told you yet. You've heard for years that olive oil is king, right? But what if there's another golden oil, once cherished across Europe, quietly waiting on the sidelines, actually outshining olive oil in some game-changing ways? Picture a seed oil packed with omega-3s, loaded with vitamin E, and somehow hardly anyone uses it. Camelina oil, often called gold of pleasure, held a top spot in medieval kitchens, long before anyone bragged about extra virgin. In the 1940s, Swedish scientists compared camelina oil and olive oil in laboratory tests, and to their shock, camelina held nearly triple the omega-3 content. Today, nutritionists in Finland and Austria quietly use it in heart health studies, while mainstream supermarkets ignore it almost completely. What's going on? In an era when food trends explode overnight, camelina stays hidden. Even olive oil fanatics rarely know its name. Farmers in Canada and the Baltic states have been growing camelina since the 1920s, calling it their secret crop. But chefs, influencers, and TV hosts still default to olive. Yet camelina's mild flavor, long shelf life, and nutritional punch give it a modern edge. So why don't you see it on every table, drizzled over salads and vegetables? The next chapter uncovers how this wildflower seed quietly outperforms your fanciest bottle, and what happens when someone finally brings it home. How a forgotten wildflower oil quietly outperforms your fancy olive bottle. Imagine a plant tough enough to thrive in rocky fields, cold winds, and poor soils where olives just won't grow. That's camelina, sometimes nicknamed Siberian oilseed by botanists because it shrugs off frost and drought. European peasants once sowed it between rows of wheat to guarantee at least one harvest during bad years. It was their insurance policy pressed into oil when olives and flax failed. Fast forward to the early 20th century. German bakers mixed camelina oil into rye bread for a rich, nutty taste and longer shelf life. When food labs tested it, they noticed something odd. Camelina didn't spoil as fast as other oils thanks to its sky-high vitamin E. The oil even kept its flavor after weeks on a pantry shelf, a trick olive oil struggles with once exposed to air. Meanwhile, in modern test kitchens, chefs are stunned by camelina's versatility. A spoonful adds a subtle, grassy note to vinaigrettes without overpowering delicate greens. Unlike strong-tasting oils like walnut or flax, camelina blends easily into smoothies, soups, and even baked goods. In blind tastings, several top Nordic chefs picked camelina oil over olive in potato salads and fish dishes, praising its gentle finish and complexity. Still, if it's so great, why isn't everyone reaching for it? Before answering, let's unravel the big nutritional secret at the heart of camelina's comeback and the quiet buzz among heart doctors. The omega-3 bomb in camelina oil that heart doctors secretly love. There's a reason some nutrition scientists call camelina oil the fish oil of the land. Underneath its golden color lies a nutritional powerhouse with up to 40% alpha-linolenic acid, an essential omega-3 rarely found outside of fatty fish. That's nearly 4 times the omega-3 content of the best extra virgin olive oils, according to Comparative Studies in Food Chemistry, 2015. In 2018, researchers in Vienna put camelina oil to the test with patients struggling to lower cholesterol. After just 8 weeks, participants swapping their usual oil for camelina saw a 12% drop in LDL cholesterol. No diet overhaul, just one small change. The American Heart Association even listed camelina alongside flaxseed and chia as a top plant-based source of omega-3s, though most grocery stores remain silent. The oil's nutritional perks don't stop there. Camelina's high vitamin E, about 92 milligrams per 100 grams versus olive oil's 14 milligrams, acts as a natural antioxidant, protecting cells and keeping the oil fresh for months. This helps explain why World War II-era British pilots packed camelina oil in emergency rations, hoping for long-lasting portable nutrition. Still, with numbers like these, why did culinary schools and cookbook writers leave camelina out of the spotlight? Next up, the strange silence in the food world and the odd twist that pushed camelina out of favor with chefs. But if camelina oil is so good, why did all the chefs ignore it? Here's where the story takes a weird turn. By the 1950s, Europe's top chefs had quietly erased camelina from the menu, and American cookbooks rarely mentioned it at all. Olive oil, meanwhile, got a luxury makeover, thanks to Hollywood and the post-war Mediterranean diet boom. Julia Child, for example, cooked with gallons of imported olive oil on TV, never once name-dropping camelina. The real shift started earlier. In the 19th century, as food production industrialized, camelina lost its market edge. Unlike olives, which became a symbol of sophistication, camelina was seen as a peasant crop, a weed that survived where real crops failed. The push for standardized, consistent products didn't help. Camelina oil varied in taste and color depending on the wildflower variety and soil. Meanwhile, post-war governments in France and the UK promoted local rapeseed and sunflower oils, investing in massive factories and clever marketing. By 1970, camelina fields shrank to a few corners of Eastern Europe, with most harvests pressed for animal feed or machine oil, not kitchens. Still, family recipes survived in the shadows. In Poland, grandmothers drizzled camelina over potato pancakes, and in rural Sweden, foraged wild camelina sometimes showed up in spring salads. The oil's obscurity became its own kind of secret status, quietly passed down in rural communities. Next, we'll travel even further back to the Stone Age roots of camelina and how its journey ties ancient diets to the modern table. From Stone Age fields to modern labs, the wild history of camelina oil. Let's step back, way back, to Europe's first farmers. Archaeologists digging in Neolithic sites near the Danube found camelina seeds mixed with grains, suggesting early humans pressed oil for both food and fuel as far back as 4000 BCE. The wildflower's pale yellow blossoms blanketed fields from France to Russia, thriving where wheat and barley struggled. Camelina earned its nickname, Gold of Pleasure, from Roman herbalists, who valued the oil for smooth skin and shiny hair. Roman soldiers used it as lamp oil and even as wound dressing, convinced by its healing powers. Later, in medieval monasteries, monks pressed camelina for fasting meals, high in energy, free from animal fats, and perfect for Lent. Centuries later, botanists cataloged dozens of camelina varieties across Europe and Central Asia, marveling at the plant's hardiness. By the 1800s, camelina was everywhere. Scottish crofters drizzled it on oats, Russian families used it in herring salads, and French apothecaries bottled it as a skin remedy. Modern science picked up the trail. In the last decade, gene banks and plant breeders have revived ancient camelina strains, hunting for climate-resilient crops. NASA even experimented with camelina aboard the International Space Station, testing it as a zero-waste source of oil for future missions. Yet most kitchens remain stuck in olive oil's shadow. How do you bring camelina oil back without ruining your favorite dishes? The next section unlocks practical secrets for home cooks and foodies alike. How to actually cook with camelina oil without ruining your favorite meals. If you've ever swapped olive oil for a trendy new seed oil, you know the anxiety. Will it taste weird, burn fast, or just flop in a stir-fry? Camelina sidesteps those worries with its delicate, nutty flavor, and high smoke point, up to 475 degrees Fahrenheit, much higher than extra virgin olive oil. In taste tests, home cooks report camelina adds a gentle grassy note to salad dressings and dips, while staying neutral enough for baking banana bread or muffins. Celebrity chef Marcus Samuelsson, who experimented with camelina at his Harlem restaurant, said it makes fish sing and keeps sautéed veggies light and crisp. You can even use it for roasting potatoes, grilling shrimp, or baking flatbreads, where other seed oils fall flat. The oil's bright color and subtle aroma come from natural antioxidants, not artificial additives, so it holds up under heat and doesn't leave a greasy aftertaste. Some innovative bakers blend camelina with butter for flaky pie crusts, while smoothie lovers toss a spoonful into green shakes for an omega-3 boost. One kitchen trick: store camelina in a cool, dark place, and it stays fresh for months. No rush to use it up. The oil's light body blends seamlessly with classic sauces and Mediterranean flavors, making it a clever upgrade in familiar recipes. But while foodies experiment in small batches, big food companies have moved in the opposite direction. Why does camelina rarely appear on ingredient lists? The answer, as always, is complicated. Let's dig into the politics and hidden tricks of the seed oil industry. The sneaky ways food companies use seed oils and skip camelina entirely. Walk down any supermarket aisle, and you'll see bottles of canola, sunflower, and soybean oil everywhere. Camelina? Nearly invisible. The reason traces back to the economics of big agriculture. Camelina yields less oil per acre than mass-market seeds, making it a tough sell for mega-processors. Plus, camelina's omega-3 richness means a shorter window for mass storage, while vitamin E's antioxidant punch helps, but can't match the bland, shelf-stable appeal of canola or corn. Food brands also play it safe, sticking with seed oils they can market cheaply, consistently, and at scale. In the U.S., over 80% of processed foods use a blend of canola or soybean oil, often labeled generically as vegetable oil. Meanwhile, camelina gets squeezed out, relegated to tiny health food sections or direct-to-consumer startups. A 2017 survey found less than 1% of Americans could identify camelina by name, compared to 68% for olive oil. And yet, some products sneak it in. Specialty mayonnaise brands, high-end dressings, and Nordic-style spreads sometimes list camelina as a premium omega-3 boost. In Canada and Scandinavia, small farms sell camelina oil at local markets, pitching its unique flavor and health edge. Chefs at Michelin-starred restaurants experiment in secret, drizzling camelina on roasted beets or cold seafood platters. All this secrecy creates a new scarcity, a hidden gem factor that leaves curious eaters hunting for a bottle. So, how do you actually bring this ancient oil and sorghum flour home in real life without drama or disaster? The final section reveals practical swaps for everyday kitchens. Simple swaps to bring camelina and ancient sorghum flour back home. You don't need a gourmet chef's pantry to enjoy the world's most underrated flour and oil. Small tweaks, one bottle, one bag, can change your cooking for the better, starting today. Camelina oil slips right into salad dressings, takes the place of canola in stir-fries, and lifts oven-roasted veggies with a pop of green. Try blending it half and half with olive oil for a balanced dip, or splash it over tomatoes for a bright, silky finish. Sorghum flour, meanwhile, blends smoothly with wheat or gluten-free mixes for pancakes, muffins, and even pizza dough. Families in Finland use camelina oil for cold potato salads, while Texas bakers swap sorghum into classic cookies and quick breads. In Sweden, rye crackers made with a touch of camelina and sorghum last for weeks, staying crisp, flavorful, and full of nutrients. Kids love popcorn popped in camelina oil, and nutritionists suggest using it to sneak omega-3s into smoothies or soups. The vitamin E in camelina even helps extend the shelf life of homemade dressings and baked goods, making every meal a little more resilient. Every small change in your kitchen connects you to centuries of innovation and survival, reviving lost flavors, supporting sustainable farmers, and building healthier habits. The next time you reach for olive oil or regular flour, remember, some of the world's most powerful ingredients are just waiting to come home. Every ingredient has a history, and the secrets don't stop here. There's always another forgotten food, another twist waiting. Click for the next story. The journey's only getting more unpredictable.